Life is utterly futile. Now, just like anything else I ever say, and ever will say, I don't present this as a piece of particularly unique information. I don't. But even still, even with this being readily accessible knowledge, many people don't realize this. Um, and if they realize it or are aware of this, they'll turn a blind eye to it and inevitably, ignore this truth, right? That life is futile. But it is, right? However we want to rationalize it, whatever meaning we want to give life, which whether we do or not, fine either way, life is meaningless, right? We're on this godforsaken universe, in this godforsaken world, in the ever expansive cosmos, for really no good reason. What's damning, even more so, is we don't know if there is a reason or not. And above and beyond that, if there is or if there is not, we will never know. That sounds dreadful, and it is. But it's also liberating, because once we realize that nothing we do truly matters in the greater cosmic scheme of things, what should we care, right? We can fall victim to our most human urges, right? We can do what we want. We can create meaning, And it sounds so utterly absurd and quite frankly depressing, right? Nothing matters. Why should I acquire wealth? Why should I make acquaintances? Why should I work this 9 to 5 job? Why should I do anything? Why should I live, right? I don't know. I don't know why you should. Right? I don't have that answer. I have the answer for myself. I know why it's worthwhile for me, because I've created my own meaning, if you will. One might say, how could you create meaning in a meaningless world? Pedantics, that's besides the point. But regardless, the realization that life is futile is the absolute key to making life worthwhile. Because I do admit, initially, there's this feeling of grief and dread and just melancholy, right? It's futile. It's futile. What have I been doing for my 20, 30, 40 years on this planet? And why will I do it for another 20, 30, 40 years? Why should I? This doesn't matter. I'm going to die and not know the difference. And in fact, once I die, it'll be just the same to me as life before I was born. AKA, nothing as far as I could tell. Right? But that's not the point. Because once you get past that period of grief and that period of nihilism, which they're fair feelings, you realize I should love it because it is so, right? I'm not going to hate it because it's futile. I'm going to love it because there's no deal, right? There's no barter. There's no strings attached. It is what it is. And there's no, code. There's no guidebook. And it's kind of like, one must imagine Sisyphus as being happy, right? You could look at it as a dreadful existence, which maybe it is, but at the same time, appreciate it because it's so. Appreciate the sheer just absurdity of it, right? Appreciate the sheer non-senselessness of it, right? And see that as being beautiful. Now, even with this mindset, even aided with these tools, it doesn't change the fact that life is what it is, futile, often depressing, forever letting us down and falling well short of our expectations. But it does allow us pockets of happiness, right? And that's all we can ask for in such a strange world with no underlying meaning one way or the other.